Hello, my internet fans. It's me, Stat Boy. Hey, we're here with another episode of Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dori Lou, but no Dori Lou this week. Things came up. She's not feeling too well, but it's okay. She's okay. We're going to try again with her and I next week, but right now it's just going to be me, the Stat Boy. There's the ticker on the bottom if you want to dictate the conversation and ask me a question. Super chat. It's as simple as that. There's Josh in the chat room. Hey there. Wait a minute. That's Renegades. That's Renegades' little salutations. You got to come up with your own, Mansfield. Come on now. No taking other people's things. We start off the show in memoriam, legendary running back, a fullback, number 32 of the Cleveland Browns, passed away on May 18th. He was, let me quickly bring up my note there. He was 87 years old. Jim Brown went to high school in Manhasset, New York, went to college at Syracuse from 1954 to 1956. And in 1957, he was the number 6 pick overall in the first round. He is a NFL champion in 1964. He's a 3-time MVP of 1957, 1958, and 1965. He was Rookie of the Year of 1957, 8-time first-team All-Pro from 57 to 61 and 63 to 65, second-team All-Pro in 62, 9-time Pro Bowler. Every year he played with Cleveland, he went to the Pro Bowl. He was the 8-time NFL rushing yards leader from 57 to 61 and 63 to 65. Rushing touchdown leader 5 times with that. Scoring leader of 1958. Let me scroll down and get more stats. The 1960s All-Decade Team, the 50th, 75th, and 100th anniversary of all-time teams. His jersey is retired, number 32. Rushing yards in his career, 12,312, 5.2 yards per carry, 106 rushing touchdowns, 262 receptions, 2,499 receiving yards, and 20 receiving touchdowns. I did not know this about him. He also became an actor. He started his career in 1964. He was in playing a Buffalo soldier in a movie called Rio Conchos. That movie premiered at the Hippodrome in Cleveland on October 23rd. Many of the Browns were there, but the reaction was kind of lukewarm. The implausibility of the movie, not so much. Then he was in MGM's The Dirty Dozen. He played Robert Jefferson. And also, he had his first lead role in 1968 in a movie called The Split, where he was paid $125,000. In 1969, he was in a movie called Riot. And a biographer by the name of Mike Freeman said that Jim Brown was the first black action star. He then went on in the 20th Century Fox for a movie that you would know, 100 Rifles. That movie also starred Raquel Welch and Burt Reynolds, and he actually had a love scene with her. This was one of the first interracial love scenes in a Hollywood movie. Later on in the 80s, he was on television. He was a night writer. He was on the A-Team. He was on Chips. He was in The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which was also, and he was also in the spoof movie I'm Gonna Get You Sucker in 1988. He was also in Mars Attacks and Sucker Free City. He was also a civil rights activist in the 1950s, and he called on other African Americans to become involved. In 1967, alongside Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Carl Stokes, they had a meeting with Muhammad Ali to recruit others. Unfortunately, because Ali was a pariah and he was due to his opposition to the Vietnam War, his boxing license had been revoked. Everyone said this was one of the most important civil rights acts in sports history. A legend in Cleveland, and he will be missed. May his memory be eternal. Hey, Pop is in the sports bar this week. Hello, Pop. How you doing? And Josh has Steele. Yeah. Well, Josh, you need to come up with an original thing. We'll give you credit for F. Bill Belichick, but I mean, come on, who doesn't say that in these days? Okay. All right, let's get on to some sports news, and we will start off with what's at the top of my list: tennis. The Italian Open is over. We are done. We have a winner in Daniil Medvedev. He defeated Holger Rune in straight sets, 7-5, 7-5. This is an accomplishment because he's never won on a clay court. The next big tournament coming up is the French Open, which starts on Sunday. Unfortunately, 14-time champion Rafael Nadal will not be competing due to a nagging hip injury. Also, the top 10s have changed. We have a new number one tennis player in the men's at Carlos Alcaraz. Daniil Medvedev is now number 2. Novak Djokovic is now down to number 3. Casper Ruud and Stefano Tsitsipas, they've stayed. They're 4 and 5. Holger Rune is now down to 6. Andre Rublev is 7. Jannik Sinner is 8. Taylor Fritz is 9. And let me make sure I have his pronunciation. Felix Auger-Aliassime is 10th. On the ladies' side, they pretty much stayed the same, except for Elena Rybakina. She has moved up a couple spots to the number 4 spot, with Garcia and Goff dropping 1 spot each. Also, the ladies' final in the Italian Open went to Annalena Kalinina after Rybakina retired in the second set. She had an injury. She could not continue. Therefore, she conceded it. But in the tennis world, it's called retiring. So if you can't continue in a match, you retire to your opponent, and the win was essentially handed to her. There is your tennis for the week. Let's move on to another sport. Golf. The PGA Championship is over. We have a winner in that. Brooks Koepka earned $3.1 million in prize money. Hello to Raymond Williams. Welcome to the Sports Bar. Thank you for joining in. This was Koepka's 3rd PGA title and his 5th major overall. The next big tournament coming up is the Charles Schwab Challenge for the men in Fort Worth, Texas. There's the top 10. We have a new number 1 player. Scotty Scheffler and John Ram have switched places. Rory McIlroy is 3rd. Patrick Cantlay is 4th. Xander Schauffele is 5th. No change there. We have a new one. We have Victor Hovland. He took 2nd place in the tournament. So now he is now 6th overall. Max Homa is 7th. Cameron Smith is 8th. Matt Fitzpatrick is 9th. And Will Zalatoris is 10th. That has knocked out Jordan Spieth. He was in the top 10, but now he is out. The ladies, they are getting ready for the Bank of Hope LPGA match play. That starts tomorrow. Jin Young Koon is still at the top of the list. We have a new number 2 at Nelly Korda. Number 3 is Lydia Ko. Number 4 is Lilia Vu. Number 5 is Minji Lin. Number 6, Atia Tidakul. Number 7, Lexi Thompson. Number 8, Brooke M. Henderson. Number 9, Georgia Hall. And number 10 is Hyo Ju Kim. Big tournaments coming up in golf. Our next race. Yeah, we actually are having a next race coming up, and we're going to go right into NASCAR. The NASCAR Open race took place this weekend. Kyle Larson was the winner, followed by Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, Ty Gibbs, and Joey Logano finishes the top 10. We move over to the current Cup Series playoffs. William Byron is now the number 1 guy, followed by Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Chris Boucher, Bubba Wallace is in the bottom, that 15th, and Chase Briscoe is in the 16th. Our RCR boys are not doing very well, except for Kyle Busch, who's the top guy, Austin Dillon. Come on, Austin, we need you you need to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and show those drivers what you can do. We need a win for RCR. Raymond has asked a question. He asked two questions, which I will come back to when we talk about football and basketball. I will address those questions. Thank you for the questions, Raymond. All right, let's go to the USFL. The Stallions, the Gamblers, and the Breakers are all 4-2, but as in the rankings go here on Stat Boy Sports Bar, the points are the tiebreakers. 171 points for the Stallions, 158 points for the Gamblers, 100 points for the Breakers. The Showboats and the Stars are 3-3 each. The Showboats have 119 points, and the Stars have 106 points. The Generals, the Panthers, and the Maulers are each 2-4. The Generals are at 106 points. The Panthers are at 96 points, and the Maulers are at 82. This week, the Showboats blanked the Maulers 22-0. The Stallions beat the Panthers 27-13, and the Stars defeated the Breakers, and the Gamblers defeated the Generals with the same score of 16-10. That feature, all righty. Before we go into the baseball rankings, there are a couple stories I have to share. If you remember a while ago, it's a legendary baseball clip with Randy Johnson. He's on the mound. He's throwing a ball. It's a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, and all you see are feathers. In one of those 1,000,000-to-1 rare moments, sadly, a bird flew into the path of the baseball. All you see is feathers everywhere. Well, this week, history has repeated itself. Sadly, 2 birds have gotten hit with baseballs. Last week, Zach Gallen of the Arizona Diamondbacks was out in the outfield warming up for his game. He threw a curveball and he hit a bird. The footage, is not worth showing because we don't want to show a bird getting hurt and all that, but it did happen. Of course, after it happened, went on social media and apologized. 5 days later, rookie player Will Brennan of the Guardian. Now he was at bat. He hit the ball. The ball hit the bird. Luckily, the camera didn't see it. The announcers did. He had that look like, oh my God, did that just happen? The announcers called it out. There's like, oh my God, there's a dead bird. Go grab a shovel, which was kind of a little bit not nice. But also, Brennan went on social media and apologized as well. It's just one of those rare things that happens. Sadly, the birds, they got hit. It happens. Will it take another 20 years for it to happen again? Absolutely. Also, of course, there are other happier animal moments in sports. Cats flying on, cats running through the field, squirrels, bees. You name it. It happens. Also, the LA Dodgers got into a little bit of hot water this week. They are getting ready to promote and have their Pride Night. There is a group out of San Francisco called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Initially, they were invited to participate, but the Dodgers decided to uninvite them. For whatever reason, I really don't know. I did look up their website. They are part of the LGBTQIA+ community. They are a group of nuns who are trans or homosexuals. I believe they use the word queer. So I want to make that correct. I'm not going to go into their website. I'm not going to judge them. I'm just stating the fact that is their group. The Dodgers uninvited them for whatever reason. Luckily, a few days later, and both of these statements are on the Dodgers website and the Dodgers Twitter page, they have been re-invited to the game to participate, which is at first I was gonna call out the Dodgers and say, hey, that's not cool. If you, regardless of what they preach or what they say, they are part of that group, and it should be everybody involved, regardless of religion, creed, background, orientation, or whatever. But they turned it around and they said, we were wrong, so we are going to re-invite them. So when Pride Night does happen, I do hope that this group does go out to the game and enjoy themselves like everybody should, because basketball, because baseball can unite everybody. Let's bring up the power rankings for this week. And of course, Tampa Bay is still the number one team at 35-14. Those Rays are just dominating every week. Everyone's trying to get close. It's just not happening. No one is going to catch them. Of course, the season is only 2 months, 2 months long. The Orioles are 31-16. The Dodgers are in third place at 30-19. The Rangers are 29-18, along with the Braves. The run total for the Rangers is 301, and the Braves have 246. The Yankees are right behind the Braves at 29-20. Houston is 28-19. The Diamondbacks are 28-20. Boston is 26-22. My Angels are 26-23. The Pirates and the Braves and the Twins. Oh, no, I'm sorry about that. The Pirates and the Braves are 25-22. The Pirates have 209 runs, and the Brewers have 195. The Twins are tied with the Blue Jays at 25-23. The Twins have 220 runs, and the Blue Jays have 218. Along with the Mets, they are also 25-23 at 207. The Marlins are at 500, 24-24. The Mariners are 23-24, tied with the Giants. Seattle does have the run advantage at 213. Philadelphia is at 22-25. Detroit is at 21-24. The Padres and the Guardians are at 21-26. The Padres have 182 runs. The Guardians have 167 runs. The Cardinals are at 21-28. The Cubs are at 20-26. The Reds and the Nationals are at 20-27. The Reds are at 201 runs. The Nationals are at 193. The Rockies are at 20-28. The White Sox are at 19-30. The Royals are at 14-35. And the Athletics, who are still struggling, finally got into the double-digit win column at 10. Unfortunately, their attendance is really low. They are down to about, at one point, they had 2,000 people show up in their stadium. And again, they are the team that is just, I believe they're the ones that are moving to Las Vegas. We talked about this last week. I still say it's a bad idea. Unless I see a rendering of what the Strip, if the stadium is going to be on the Strip where the Tropicana was, it just doesn't make sense to walk down the Strip, go into a casino, then you're right there at the ballpark. I so wish that they could just find a spot of land somewhere on the 15 or on the 5 or on the 10 or whatever freeway it is. I can't remember which one it is. I believe it's the 15. If you can build a stadium out there like Allegiant, you can put a baseball diamond somewhere in the desert, and that's just being me. It's the 15. That's what I thought. It was the 15. All right. Let's bring up the NBA results and what's going on in the playoffs. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics can wrap up their series They won game 1, 123 to 116. They won game 2, 111 to 105. They won game 3, 128 to 102. The game starts in less than an hour. And I did say that the Celtics should win this, but it's the possibility that the team with the most NBA titles could not go to the finals. Look what happened in the West. Denver wins game 1, 132 to 126. They win game 2, 108 to 103. They win game 3, 119 to 108. And look at what happens in game 4. They hold off 113 to 111, bring out the brooms. The Lakers are gone. This is the first trip to the finals for the Nuggets in franchise history. They not only beat the Lakers, they demolished the Lakers. And I did say last week, I said I kind of wanted this to happen. Now, I'm not hating on LeBron, not at all. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he the greatest of all time? No. Do I see LeBron James retiring? Okay. Let's look at this scenario. If his contract is up, which I remember he had a 2-year contract extension. If his contract is up and he has fulfilled all of his commitments and he does not want to play anymore, retiring is okay. I'm okay with it. If he still has time left on his contract and he wants to retire because of the loss, bad idea. That is typical of your, I don't want to play anymore. I'm guilty of that. I've done that many a times. I've played many a game, be it a board game, a trivia game, whatever. And if I'm just getting demolished, I don't play that game anymore. It's the wrong thing to do. So, like I say, the contract is always the biggest concern. It's not, you sign the contract that's he wants to play with Bronny. Bronny, who can you be a little more specific on that name? I mean, so now he wants to leave Los Angeles altogether and play with somebody else. Okay, see, I have if he wants to go and play with somebody else that will potentially carry him to another title, there I have a problem too. Oh, his son. Okay. Okay, see, I jumped the gun on that one. Thank you, Raymond. Off the cuff, father and son playing together on a team, winning a title. It could happen. It'd be a great story. It could be a great career finisher. If it was anybody else other than his son, like if I think it was him and maybe I want to say Carmelo Anthony, but I'm not certain, or whoever he played with in Miami and Cleveland, if you want, or Anthony James or somebody like that. See, I don't know all my basketball stats offhand. I do apologize for that. But if he wanted to go back and play with his boys, to win another title, that would probably be an issue. So, like I say, it all comes down to the contract, and if he still has time in LA, I can understand playing with your son and having them both on the court at the same time. That would be a great accomplishment. So we'll see what happens with the NBA in the East. Again, it could happen that both teams get swept. There's a good stat for me to look up when the last time teams were both swept out of the playoffs. All righty, let's go into hockey. The Eastern Conference Final. Look at this: 3-0 Florida. Game 1 was the sixth longest game, the sixth longest overtime period in NHL history. The longest overtime period spanned 6 overtimes and almost went into a 7th overtime. I believe the record is in the 110-minute range. Game 2, Florida won again, 2-1 in overtime, and both game-winning goals were scored by Matthew Tkachuk. And he, as soon as he scored the goal, now this took place in Carolina, so Florida was the road team. He scored the goal, and the team just left the ice immediately. They celebrated in the back. Florida won Game 3 last night, I believe, it was last night, 1-0. Game 4 is just about to get underway on ESPN and ESPN Plus. I did say it was tomorrow, but it is. Yes, I'm sorry. Game 4 is tomorrow for Florida and Carolina, so they could sweep the Hurricanes. And of course, in the fantasy hockey world, the Hurricanes are my team. Florida is one of my coworkers from work, and he's on the mountaintop right now because they are just getting outplayed big time. I mean, now we all know it's happened before that a team can come back from a 3-0 deficit to win. It's happened many, if you know, you know. So I am hoping that the Hurricanes tomorrow can pull this off. In the West, the Stars and the Golden Knights, Game 3 is almost underway. It starts in just a couple of minutes. They are in Dallas tonight. Vegas won the first game 4-3 in overtime and won 3-2 in overtime. A lot of overtime games. 4 out of 5 have gone to overtime. Luckily, you don't do a shootout in overtime. You play till you drop. There was also a football story that I need to quickly bring up. It's about our good friend Tom Brady. This one I could not believe that I've said this many times that a football star just never lets the game go. And because you always see them on commentary or let me mute this out so we don't get dinged. Okay, good. That is muted. The Raiders have announced the Raiders owner, Mark Davis, has acknowledged that he has come to an agreement with Tom Brady to join the ownership group. Now, the NFL has to approve this. So we don't know how much money is involved. Tom Brady will become the 3rd player to have a stake in an NFL team, with the other 2 being George Halas and Jerry Richardson. Of course, they're being hush-hush about it. They're saying, how much are you doing? Doesn't work like that. So, instead of going to Fox and joining their squad, apparently he wants to try and bring a championship to the Raiders. Why not? Hey, it just goes to show that a player does not give up the game that easily. Okay, I'm sorry, Renegade. Yes, the Knights are your team. I apologize for that. Yeah, it's all about me because I'm being a stubborn stat boy right now. I apologize. The Knights are the Renegades team. The Stars are our friend Nathan, who's in Canada. The winner of that match faces the winner of the Eastern Conference matchup. I wanted it to be brother versus brother. But like I say, sometimes you just got to face reality here. I could be swept out of my own league tomorrow night, and I'm okay with that. It might look a little bit sneaky if the league commissioner wins. So I told this to Renegade earlier. I said, if that happens, I will root for my brother because he's my brother. Dang it! That's what I got to say about that. Let's see here. Pop, guess who is retiring in 2 days? Third time retired. Retired in California. Retired in Minnesota, and now retiring in Florida. Good job, Pop. You deserve it. Absolutely, you deserve it. Well, I think that's all the major sports stats that we've covered. If you have not gone back to see us play Family Feud, please go back and watch that video. We had a blast. I had a blast. All of us had a blast. It was one of the most exciting, well-talented events that we all, among the players, among the producers, among the PowerPoint people. It's amazing what you can do with a computer and things like that. Of course, Night of Champions is coming up this weekend. I'm pretty certain by now the crew should be over in the NFL question. Flex games on Thursdays. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm not totally certain what a flex game is. So I do apologize for that. Thursday night football. I mean, Thursday night football is Thursday night football. That gives you a good start on the weekend. But as far as the actual term of a flex game, too sure on that one. I do apologize for that. So I did forget about your question, but thank you for the question, Raymond. It really did help. I'll touch on the wrestling a little bit. Again, the crew should be over in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia to probably do some promotional work before Saturday's event, Night of Champions. Not going to lie, I was a little bit surprised about the talks between the Syrians and the Saudis. Of course, there was a clash of some kind. That's why Sami Zayn did not appear at Night of Champions for 2 years because of his ethnicity. So since now he gets to go there, it's going to be a very good thing because you can't have a tag team match without your partner and fellow champion. Here's something I should say. I am very embarrassed that I totally got my numbers mixed up, and I had thought that the 1,000-day reign had already taken place. In looking at the date, August 30th, 2020, I kept seeing August 20th, 2020. So the math would if the math that was wrong would come up, and it would say that the 1,000-day reign has already came up. Luckily, Jeff helped me out on that one. He's like, you're looking at the date wrong. So the 1,000-day reign will take place on Saturday. SmackDown is already in the can. SmackDown was taped. So they'll say, this is day 999. Let's face it, they're not going to go to SmackDown, and they're not just going to, fly on the red eye over to Saudi. I'm getting to that. Actually, in fact, I'll say that right now. Yes, Roman should take the pin for the 1,000th day. He can have his 1,000-day reign. I'll get to that too, Renegade. Yes, I will get to that. The 1,000-day reign was going to happen no matter what. As soon as whatever little rumor popped up that Roman and Solo were going for the tag belts, the talks between the Saudis and the Syrians, whoever was in creative ran with that. Okay. So the numbers are all matching up. So guess what? You're on lock. You've got your 1,000 days. You're going to get that. Okay. Now, do I see Solo attacking Roman? No. Solo is going to be the loyal enforcer. Jimmy and Jay, more likely Jay than Jimmy. I think he's going to be the one to possibly continue the so-called self-imposed crumble of the bloodline. Jimmy is on his own, if according to what the wise man suggested from SmackDown last week. So I think Jay's going to be the wild card in this. Now, the reign for Roman needing to end by SummerSlam, Roman has said that, this is only the third inning. He's probably going to pass Hogan's reign. At that point, I think it should stop, because it will become a stale, non-defunct thing to go after Bruno. 2,000 days as champion, 2,800 days as champion. Okay, especially with the Raw title, which I also have a thing to talk about. That should Roman defend his title? Yes. It's Night of Champions. The champions should be defending their title. Yes, Sammy and Kevin are doing their thing, defending the tag team belts. That should not excuse Roman from not defending the Universal title. Unfortunately, there's probably not anybody to come up and do it. So that's why we get the freebie, or that's why he gets the freebie to the 1,000 days. That's why, it's going to happen now, because he's not defending his title. And of course, he can just go off and say, I'm in God mode, and I'm in. It's a third inning in the story. They're telling doesn't mean he'll have the championship throughout the entire story. The story may just refer to the bloodline. True indeed. Should he defend his title? Yes, but I just don't think that there isn't anybody available to do it. The next question there. Oh, wow, a $10 super chat from Pop. Thank you so much, Pop. Love you guys. Love you back, Pop. Well done indeed. Pop rocks. Renegade also said, what do you think about the women's tag team championship being contested for The Raw after Night of Champions? Maybe, now this is just a thought, and it's the only thing I can really think of. Maybe the Saudis are limiting the ladies. That they kind of broke their own rule and their tradition. So maybe, and it's just a guess. I don't know if it's right or wrong. Of course, Raquel has to pick a partner, and we think it's going to be Shotzi. My quick thought on that is I think that they're just going to put the belt on them. They're going to just turn around and then Liv can come back in and say, hey, I should get my belt back. What's the third match other than the Raw and Women's SmackDown belts, which we know they're going to retain? I doubt that. I doubt as much as I love Natalya. Oh, Trish and Becky. Okay, right. Well, like I said, really. So then why not let them win the belts in Saudi? It's probably happened before. Well, who knows? It's up to the Saudis, I guess. They've put so much money into the event. Maybe they get a say. Who really knows? As far as the title match between Seth and AJ, I don't know if I've said this, but I think that as much as I want to see AJ with a title, because AJ is due for something. AJ has put a lot of time into his WWE career. Had Cody not come back and had AJ not gotten injured, I've said this earlier in the year, AJ should have won the Rumble and have been the one going to WrestleMania. I have a feeling that Seth is going to win this because if you remember when Triple H announced the new belt, he flat out said, whichever brand does not have Roman go to, it'll be that champion. Seth is a Raw guy. AJ is a SmackDown guy. The title, the Universal title, is on SmackDown. AJ and the OC got traded or got drafted to SmackDown. So, in a way, Triple H is saying the title is going to be on Raw. What would be the point of bringing AJ away from the OC just to put him on Raw? You know, that's kind of like changing the rules, which you should have done. You know, you should have thought it through a little bit, I think. So I really want to see AJ win this, but based off of what Triple H said in the beginning, I think Seth is going to win this belt. The things with Cody and Brock. Okay, Cody has a broken arm. The last time a wrestler had a injured arm and still wrestled a match that I remember, Shane Douglas. Do we really want to exactly, or does he? Do we really want to bring up that old story or gimmick where, you know, Shane Douglas walks out with his arm in a sling, it's bandaged up, you know, and he can't even lock up with anybody? You know, if Brock truly wanted to break Cody's arm, he could. That happens, you know, whether it be intentional, story, or because Brock does whatever the hell he wants to do. I looked at, you know, I broke my arm, okay? I mean, I couldn't tell that it was broken by looking at it. There you go. It'd be pretty hard to get the cast off. I mean, and you got to remember, if you're going to cast him, well, unless we do the old Bob Orton gimmick, you never know. There you go, Cowboy Bob Orton style, the longest broken arm in history. So, you know, I would also be okay if Brock did win this match. Like, let's say Cody does hit him with the cast. Maybe all that does is just piss him off, and you know, Brock takes out his anger, wins the match. They're 1-1, and then we can go to the next pay-per-view, or maybe even go towards SummerSlam. Like, Cody can take some time off to heal his broken arm. Brock can come out and say, hey, I want the title. Cody can come back and cost Brock the match. Then they have a match at SummerSlam. The winner gets the title match against possibly Seth. Are you taking notes, WWE? Because, you know, this is a storyline meeting. Then Cody can get the belt, and then we can go all the way through to the Rumble and keep on going from there. All right, friends, we've gone 45 minutes. That happens at WrestleMania next year. That's what I think. I think in Philadelphia, the story finishes. Okay, or they go again, and they go one more time, and we do it at Madison Square Garden like we're supposed to. All right, is the hockey game on? Let's take a quick look at the Statotron 7500. Nope, not. They're doing the national anthem. Okay, that's good. Everyone, oh wow, look at all that. I did not know that the Dallas Stars jerseys can glow in the dark. Very good. Well, we're almost ready for puck drop, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on this game. Aiden Hill is in net. Coming up, Impact Under Siege on May 26th. It's our next watch-along event. Following Under Siege, Jeff has a huge announcement. I have no idea what that's going to be, so make sure you keep an eye on this. That's in 3 days, following Under Siege. Night of Champions, May 27th, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Find out what happens. See if Roman and Solo can, if Roman can be Roman 4 belts. I say no. AEW, Double or Nothing, another watch along. Boy, there's going to be a ton of watch along events this week from Las Vegas, where the Knights, T-Mobile Arena, I believe. Yep, that's where the Knights play on Sunday, May 28th. Check out everything on the Casa D-18 Studios with the Warzone, Renegades reviews of Rio Lobo, Big Jake, the Cowboys, and the Mother. Of course, you'll find us every week here in the Sports Bar. If you are not watching Throwback Thursday, you should be watching it because in what they've done is we did a 3-man rant, and it's basically what got me started in the ranting business. It all started thanks to VH1. They put out a list of the top 100 songs. It was me, Renegade, and our brother Bruce sitting in front of a camera. I would list off the list. We would rant about the songs. Go back and watch these episodes. We did a 5 episode thing on this, and the Knights have scored a goal already at 18:49. Jonathan Marchessault makes it 1-0 in Game 3 right off the bat. How about that, Marchessault? Let's take a quick look at that. Right past Jake Ottinger. He didn't even see it coming. Look at that. The top 10 must-see moments of the Monday Night War. The Dads on Wrestling give their picks. Friday, June 2nd. Heroes and Legends 20 comes back to Pigeon Forge on Saturday, August 26th. FanFest at noon. Matches begin at 7 o'clock. There is talks. We have not confirmed this yet. It is a possibility that Dori Lou and I might have a table there so we can meet friends and meet fans and make new friends and maybe get some content. It's in the works right now. It is not confirmed. It is confirmed more than likely we will be there. Jason Hurricane Maples, great promoter out here. He likes it that we promote the show for him. Like I say, we're in talks. There's fees involved, there's money involved, but if it happens, we will let you know. I believe that is everything we've done. So until next week, we will be here in the Sports Bar again next week. I know I will be here. Dori Lou should be here if she's feeling well. I will say this now, on June 6th, in 2 weeks, I will not be in the Sports Bar. I have an obligation to go to work that day. If I don't show up at that work, I'm done with that job. So I will not be here. So we'll play it by ear, and everything will work out fine. Okay? I love you all. Thank you all for watching. See you next week. Stat Boy out.